Good evening. It says we're live, so hopefully we are. And I'm delighted this evening I've got Bill, Dungeons and Joy Pads with me. So, Bill,
Hi,
welcome.
everyone.
Welcome to the Coffee Pod. So,
Yeah, thanks, James.
no, my pleasure. So, tonight we're going to find out a bit more about you and about your business. We'll just wait for a few people to come into chat. But I'm really interested to know tonight about toys and collectible market because it's something I don't know myself, something I don't normally pick up. Or, as I said to you before we went live, when I do, I kind of pick something up and feel like I don't know what I've got here. Google Lens is my friend, most definitely when it comes to that market. So, yeah, we'll just wait for a few more people to join. But we had Leanne in early. Leanne was in at 6:30 this evening. So, hi, Leanne. Hope you're well. Sam, I saw you, Sam, on Pete's stream earlier. So, thanks for popping in. Yeah, normally I do this on a Monday, and it was planned actually for yesterday. But with the Queen's funeral, we thought we would delay it by a day. Just out of respect for her and to do it today. So hopefully we'll get a few more people join us. But I guess while we're waiting, do you want to give a quick intro into yourself for people who don't know who you are and talk a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, my name's Bill. I run Dungeons and Joy Pads. We kind of really just stock anything kind of nerdy, really. So, anything from toys, video games, consoles, trading card games like Pokemon cards. One of the big things that we are sort of into is a new card game that's come out in the last couple of years called MetaZoo, and we're actually exclusive partners of MetaZoo
Cool.
in the whole of Europe. So there aren't any other partners in Europe. It is just us at the moment. That may well change in the future, but yeah, it's pretty exciting. We host tournaments and that sort of stuff. Um, but yeah, that's kind of that in a nutshell, really.
Nice, good stuff. And what was it that got you into toys and collectibles then? Is it something you've always been into growing up, or what made you sort of get into that niche as such?
Yeah, I mean, no one ever really grows up, right? I mean, I think all boys are kind of the same, aren't we? Like
Yeah,
we all even when we see toys out in the wild, even if you don't buy them yourself, sometimes you think, oh, that looks cool, or I'd like
yeah.
to have a play on that,
Mhm.
And that's kind of where it's always come from. I mean, I've always been into Pokemon, really, really
Yeah.
heavily. That's one of my big things, and just kind of made sense to kind of make a business out of that, I suppose.
Sure, no, absolutely. Yeah, I get the Pokemon thing. I think that's my era growing up was the original Pokemon cards.
Yeah,
And I still despise my dad for what he done. So I had the whole collection at one point. I'm sure all the shinies, all in the folders, the nice Pokemon folders. And I
yeah,
think they ended up at a car boot sale. And I think they probably went for about a fiver back in the day. And now it's all come back around. And some of them shiny Charizards, I know if they're in good condition, can go
yeah,
for hundreds. So yeah, Pokemon's always been my thing. But apart from that, the toy stuff isn't something I've ever really been that into. So it'll be interesting to find out a bit more from you tonight about that. So let me just jump and say a few hellos. I'll try and keep up the
yeah,
chat the best I can. So Rianne's in. Hi Rianne, thanks for joining. Josh 34, bonjour, thank you. Lee, good chatting to you earlier. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Limelight Vinty, welcome. Married to Reselling. Hi guys, was just watching you, James, when the notification popped up. Yeah, I released another video earlier today, so I'm trying to release a few videos at the moment from the car boots at the weekend. So yeah, thanks for joining, guys. Damien, hi, welcome. Lisa, hello, and Leanne. James, I watched your boot sale video earlier, and it just ended suddenly. Can you let us know when it's going to end, please, on other videos? Yeah, so maybe I should do a bit of an outro, or maybe I should do a bit of a recap. But yeah, sometimes it do end suddenly, I know. So, and talking of the devil, my dad, who sold Pokemon cards for probably about £5, he's in the chat. Hi, Golden Boy, because I have two other brothers and a sister, and he claims I'm the Golden Boy, but we don't know why. Hi, Simon. I know it can't be Faye. Actually, says she doesn't watch videos. Yeah, so welcome, Simon. Thank you for joining in. And we have Shabba in as well. So perfect. Okay, so let's get a bit back to you then. So let's talk about this weekend. So you was at a toy fair
yeah.
this weekend. So yeah, let's talk a bit more about that then. So how did you get on?
Yeah, it went really well. I mean, we always do well at Sandown. I mean, we actually, I'd never actually heard of it before. It was only because Z from Only Cool Stuff,
Mhm.
he sort of said that he'd started going to that. So I thought, yeah, that sounds like quite a good idea. I mean, when we turned up, it was kind of a lot of sort of older people looking at die-cast metal corgis from like the 40s and the 50s and that.
Sure.
Um, and I was kind of thinking, God, I don't think I've got the right product mix for this.
Mhm.
But I think in the end it kind of helped us because there's a lot of kind of casuals walking around there as well, you know, that kind of just want to buy. They don't want to spend £300 on a half complete Millennium Falcon from
Yeah, of
1965 or
course.
whatever, you know. So yeah, we kind of stock a lot of low value stuff, you know, £10, £20 stuff there, and yeah, it goes down pretty well. I think I mean we will continue to going forward as well, but yeah, I think even just for a day out. I mean, we actually met Shane Ritchie there, who plays
Oh wow, yeah,
Alfie Moon in EastEnders. He
yeah.
was walking around. He's apparently quite a big toy collector, which I wasn't aware of.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never thought he would be kind of thing. But I know he's quite. I believe he's quite local actually to the area. But yeah, as I was saying to you before, I was at a wedding Saturday. I'm hoping to pop down to the next one because I'm just interested to see the market and what it's like to go to one of these toy fairs from someone who doesn't collect toys, just to feel the buzz around it. Because I've heard it's good things. I've heard there's a real buzz. You get to meet some interesting people, and like you say, you don't need hundreds to actually go there and spend. You can, if you want to, first of all, buy nothing, but
Yeah.
secondly, you might be able to pick up something you just like the look of for £5, £10, etc. So how do you get on with the toy fair? Is it worth going to, or do you go for other reasons, or do you make a substantial amount of money by doing them?
Um, I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, it depends I mean, everyone considers substantial amount of money. You know, I guess it's kind of subjective. I mean, it's
Yeah.
definitely worth us going. I mean, it takes us an hour to get there.
Hmm.
And it starts at, I mean, you start unpacking at 8. I think they open the doors at 10, and then it runs until I think it's 3 o'clock or half 3 or something like that. We're usually
Yeah.
packed up by 3 o'clock. Um, but yeah, I think it's definitely worth going to. I mean, on top of selling stuff as well, what I'm trying to build is the brand. So, you know, trying to get people out there and, you know, business. I mean, we've got these business cards as well. I'll show you these very quickly.
Hmm.
These are our
Oh,
business cards.
well, look like collectible cards. Yeah. Clever.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then on the front, they've got like a, oh, you can see it better there. So on
Yeah.
the front, they've got like a discount code as well, and then on our back, we've got all of our, you know, contact information, sort of the a little synopsis of kind of what we sell. So everybody gets one of
Nice.
those. But everybody that gets these, they're
Hmm.
so they're like, wow, these are amazing, you know. And if you're into Pokemon stuff, these do look pretty good. I mean, at Christmas last year, we actually made holographic ones.
Yeah.
People kind of went nuts for those. So it's, yeah, it's just kind of trying to build the brand, make people aware of the website. I mean, we're not even actually a year old yet.
Hmm.
Our website's a year old on the 1st of October, so we've got a couple of weeks. But it's kind of crazy what you can achieve in such a small amount of time. I mean, when I first started the website, I said to my girlfriend, I just hope people are aware of it by Christmas next year, you know.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's kind of taken off so much is amazing, really.
Amazing. I'll just catch up with chat and we'll go into the website in a bit more details because that's something that
Yeah.
really interested me about yourself. The fact that you do eBay along with the toy fairs, along with the website and other bits as well. So let me just catch up. So, hi, Paul. Good to see you at the boot sale on Saturday. Paul is the first and only person who's actually come up to me and said, I watch you on YouTube. So, yeah, it's always good to see him now at the car boot sale. Um, Oh, Lee's asked a good question. How much is it to stall out? So, how much is it to have a stall at the toy fair? And I guess it depends on size of the stall, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, a table's 60 quid, so you get like a six
Hmm.
foot table. It's like 6 by 3, I guess,
Yeah.
and that's 60 quid. So, I mean, when you consider of how much it is to sell at a boot sale, I mean, the one near me is 15 quid.
Mm.
So, you know, it's
And they market it quite well, I guess, with the toy fairs and stuff. It's well publicized, isn't it? And you get a lot of people coming to them. What's the kind of footfall? Do you know roughly what they get in a day there?
I wouldn't know. I mean, definitely in the thousands. I mean, the people.
Sure.
I mean, I hear people walking around talking in like German, French. So there's definitely people come from Europe to
Yeah.
visit it. Um, yeah, I don't know. It'd definitely be in the thousands. I mean, it's one of the biggest toy fairs in Europe. So
Sure. So it's
um,
worth paying the £60 for because you know you're going to get the right kind of people coming to them as well. The people who do collect and looking to spend money as well.
that's it. I mean, yeah, you're in the place where somebody's looking to spend money. You know, you're not trying to sell something to someone. They're already looking to buy it. Do you see what I mean? So you don't have
Yeah.
to kind of yeah.
You just got to have the right thing for them, really. I think that's what it comes down to: is having the right product at the right kind of price, and they will invest. But I guess if you're a collector as well, you don't mind paying a bit more than average, really, for something because you're not necessarily looking to buy to resell. And I guess some people do. But I
Hmm.
guess your target when you go to these places is to find that collector, the kind of end person as such, or do you sell to other resellers?
I'm sure some resellers do buy off of me.
Hmm.
I mean, I try to sort of price it. because I do want to sell some of this stuff, and some of it's quite big as well, right? So I think
Yeah.
I'd rather this sell here, so someone can just take it home, so I don't have to ship it out, like that
Yeah, of
Superman
course.
figure we was talking about.
Yes, of
So
course.
yeah, so I mean, like that Superman figure was a big 30-inch one, and I mean, I had that up for 30 quid at the show, and it didn't get any interest at all. And then as soon
Mm,
as we got home, it sold for 45 on eBay.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's kind of there's a lot of different types of people there. There's people in their 70s, there's people in their teens, there's 6-year-olds.
yeah,
Um, but I would say I kind of cater to more just like casual people, not even to really collectors, just people that are into Super Mario or Sonic or
sure.
Pokemon. You know,
Yeah,
so it's you could say it's collectible, but it's not really high end collectible.
yeah.
Might just be like a
So it's
plush toy
available.
or something.
Yeah, so it's available in the price range for everyone. As you were
Yeah,
saying, it's not necessarily going to be the three, 400, £500 items you're going to be selling on your store exclusively. It's going to
yeah.
be affordable for people to come and buy something from you, which is good as well. So Tama Bellin, hi guys, thanks for popping in. The gentleman Marketeer, hi, welcome. Let me see if I've missed anyone. I think we said hello to Lisa, but if not, so we've got some questions coming in here. There we go. So Shabba's asked a good question. Where did you get the business cards from like that, please, Dungeons?
Right. So I mean, Vistaprint. This is the box here for them.
Yeah. Yeah, the box doesn't
um,
look as the cards.
no, exactly. They literally just come in a box like that.
Hmm.
I mean, I order about 1,000 at a time. The actual art itself, I got made, so somebody drew that for me,
Nice.
um, and I basically just told her what I wanted. She actually makes like custom Pokemon cards, and
Hmm.
what she originally does is she would, if you had your pet, she'd put your pet, like, draw your pet on a Pokemon card. But I
Yeah.
said to her, no, I don't want a pet. I want a dragon with a controller for a face.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, a bit of a weird request, but I get why.
Yeah. So yeah, and I said, I want it to look like Charizard. Um, that's kind of what we ended up with. But yeah, I mean, I can't remember what they cost. I mean, they're not very expensive. I mean, once you've got the art's the most expensive thing, is you've got to pay someone to actually do that.
Yeah.
But once you order them at 1,000 at a time, 2,000 at a time, they're like pennies.
Yeah, I remember when I first started, I ordered up, I think, 500 business cards just to get started because I used to put them in every single parcel I sent out with the voucher, the coupon code
Yeah,
on
yeah,
eBay. But I've stopped doing that because it's all online now. But I'm thinking about maybe just ordering up 1,000 more and trying it again because some people don't see the coupon code online, but they might just open up your package, see 20% off or 10% off the next order and come directly straight back to your store on eBay. So I might give it another go. But yeah, I think business cards are a great idea, not just for the eBay side, but like when you go to the toy fairs, anyone walking past, you could just hand one out and you're going to direct them onto
yeah.
your website for future purchases as well. So it makes sense.
I think
Um,
the good thing that
no, go.
the reason why I wanted them to look like this is because when I buy stuff online, I get business cards, right? And
Hmm.
sometimes you just get a white piece of paper with, business name on it, and that just goes in the bin. But
Yeah.
sometimes, I mean, I'll get something, like this. This is
Yeah.
this girl's business card that drew this, and I've kept
Hmm.
that because not because well, I would go back to her, but just because it's a nice piece of art and I actually like it, and I've kept that for over a year. So
Yeah.
I expect people to kind of do the same with that as well. So I would always say if you're going to make a business card, make it something that's kind of a bit flashy.
Yeah, it's unique as well. Like you say, you've gone to that person because you remember the business card they gave you, where you might have received
Yeah,
another 5 business cards of people doing exactly the same thing. And you think, "Do you know what, I'm not going to remember them." So it makes perfect sense. It's a great idea for the cards to look like that. So Lisa asked, is it possible to make money on eBay even with more common Pokemon cards? So I'm guessing the common Pokemon cards I remember are things like the energy cards. I guess they're the common ones, but you'll be able to explain more. As you say, my Pokemon knowledge is not like it used to be. So yeah, what do you think of that? Can you still make money on the common cards?
there's definitely money to be made out there. I mean, for example, if you get a set close to when it launches, people are looking for all the cards. So, I mean, there's some arbitrage out of the boxes with just kind of the junk, you could say. Um, there's definitely you can make play sets, so people obviously play the game as well, and that's getting bigger and bigger as Pokemon itself is growing even bigger as well. Um, and you might sell 4 Bulbasaurs for 199 or something. Um, the problem with that though is that you would have to have you know thousands and thousands and thousands of listings,
Hmm.
um, because you need to spread yourself across the entire landscape in order to kind of generate those sales, because for it to be worth it, you know bearing in mind that you're only selling them for 99p, 199s, and things like that, you need to get a real sort of amount. There needs to be some serious volume there. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely possible. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people do it.
And so while we're on Pokemon cards, question from me, how do you spot the fake ones? Because I go to a lot of car boot sales and on my videos, especially, people will say to me, you should have bought them Pokemon cards. But my fear is I always seem to attract myself to the fake ones. So I picked up cards before. I've used the app. I forgot what it's called. Is it TCP Player or something? TCG
TCG
Player, where you,
player.
yeah, where you can scan the cards, and I've done that, and some cards have come up at £90, and then I've posted them onto like a Facebook page for Pokemon cards, and straight away people are going, "That's a fake one. That's fake. That's fake." So I tracked myself to the fake card. So how do you tell? And is there sort of an easy way to spot a fake Pokemon card in the market?
Um, I guess the main thing is really is just experience and just being around the cards. I mean, if you've seen, if you hold them every day and you kind of you get to feel, you know what they feel like, you know what the
Hmm.
shading of the colors should be, you know what the hollow patterns should be. I mean, things to look out for, I guess. Um, well, one thing you could do if someone's got a collection there and they're selling one, like cards for like 50p or whatever, just buy a card for 50p and tear it in half.
Okay.
Uh, I know that sounds silly, right? But
Yeah.
let me see if I can find.
Don't tear a collectible card in half. I don't want you to make a mistake on the live and
No,
then blame
no,
me.
no, but
Blame me later.
here's a MetaZoo card, right? So
Yeah.
if I tear this in half, you'll see
Yeah.
that it's got like a black core in the middle. You might not be
Okay.
able to see
Yeah.
that so well, but the Pokemon cards will have a blue core in the middle.
Hmm.
Fake cards are basically, especially if they're hollows, if you tear them apart, it will a real card should tear apart, but mainly these have got like plastic stickers on them, and
Sure. Yeah.
it just kind of won't tear properly.
Yeah.
Um, but as a result of that, they're kind of thicker, um, and they just kind of don't, and they look shiny as well. That's one thing.
Hmm.
You'll look at the card, and if it really reflects in the light, it should have kind of like a grainy reflection instead of like a smooth, polished reflection.
Sure. So it's just a case of being around them, and just as you say, the feel is the main point really. So getting to know
Yeah.
that. So okay, next time I see Pokemon cards, I'm going to buy one and rip it in front of them at the car boot sale, and they'll think I'm mad. But I'll point them in your way. But that's good. Um, we've got another question for you, Bill. Do you have all your stock at home, or do you have a storage unit? Yeah, great question.
Yeah, so we've got a storage unit because we've got loads of like cards basically as well. So it's just a case of storing them there really. But yeah, some stuff I do store at home. It really just depends. Like most of it gets processed here, so I will take the photos of everything and then it gets transferred to the unit. But sometimes if I've not taken it there yet, it sells
Yeah,
in between. So I just it just goes out. But yeah, mainly everything stays at a unit.
nice. I'll just get through the chat. So my stepmom's in. Hi, Zoe. Welcome. Lee asks, do you get stock from wholesalers or do you stock vintage toys?
Both. So yeah, we do some wholesale. Mainly the wholesale stuff is the Pokemon and the MetaZoo that we buy in. Um, but other than that, yeah, the retro toys is just it just comes from where everybody else gets it from.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you source at car boot sales and stuff as well alongside, or do you sort of just go wholesale or a mixture of both?
Yeah, car boots, charity shops, eBay is a big one as well. Buy a lot of stuff on eBay.
Yeah,
Um, I think when you kind of niche down, it's easier to find stuff on eBay. If
yeah.
you if you kind of sell everything, then you're always looking for everything, and you'll
Hmm.
just inevitably
Welcome,
miss
welcome to
everything.
welcome to my
Yeah,
world. Yeah,
but I do still sell. If I see like a decent pair of trainers, or
yeah.
I call it junk. If I find some junk, then I will pick it up
You're
and
not going to walk
sell it.
past it. No, that
But it
makes
just won't go
sense.
on the website. It'll only go on eBay.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sam says repeat buys are difficult for an everything store. If you have a category or a couple, you're more likely to get returning customers. Yeah, absolutely, Sam. I've seen that a lot with repeat buys for my books I'm selling. So I don't know if you're aware, Bill, but I picked up 4,000 books,
Oh
and
wow.
I've been selling them in bundles, and they've been going really well. But yeah, Sam, actually right. I would say 90% of my repeat customers are people who have bought books from me before and coming back to buy more books. So it's rare somebody who bought books is going to buy a DS off me and a cuddly toy, and the rest of it as well. So do you get a lot of repeat buyers on eBay, for instance? So people say, we'll come and buy some cards off you, and then a month's time, they'll come and buy a lot more off you, kind of thing, once they've sort of gained that trust from you.
It does happen, yeah. I mean, to be fair, with the card stuff, I do still sell a lot of cards on eBay, but once I send out one of these business cards, they kind of realize who they're buying from. I mean,
Yeah,
with MetaZoo, people are aware of the name because we're partners of it.
of
Um,
course.
Pokemon's a lot more competitive, and it's kind of hard to bring people back,
Yeah.
um, especially with singles and stuff, because singles are so readily available. Everybody's selling singles. You don't have to be a business. You can just be some guy opening packs in your bedroom, you know.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's very competitive, the Pokemon market.
Yeah, absolutely. So Lisa was saying she's thinking more like stacking a load together. So I'm guess bundling loads of cards and selling them off as a job lot. I guess if you've got loads of common cards, that's probably a good way to go. Maybe bundling 50 or 100 common cards and selling them off as one lot instead of doing them individually, I'm guessing.
You can do that. That's quite competitive as well. There's a lot of people out there doing that. Another thing you can do is, if you've got like a few thousand cards, stick them all in a box, and you'll probably get like £100 for it on eBay.
Yeah,
Um,
just for a
which
box
is
of commons.
Yeah, just for a box of commons, and ultimately, like energy cards, I just throw those in the bin. To be honest with you,
Yeah, yeah, I
um,
know. I mentioned energy because that's what you end up with a lot with, don't you? When you buy people's lots and stuff, I bet loads are just the pointless
loads of them.
energy ones that no one uses, or
Although the
so many
base,
animal.
if you can get original base set energy cards from the very first set in the 90s, those, if they're in good condition, you can get those graded, and they can sell for £100 plus if they're in good.
Really? What, just the energy cards?
Just the energy cards, yeah, because
Oh,
people
okay.
people who play the game, for example, the energy cards are universal. So if you've got a water energy from 1999 and you've got one from 2022, they do the same thing.
Yeah.
So people can pick and choose which energies they want to use, and some people just want to reminisce and go back to the 90s and collect the whole set, and the energies are
Yeah.
part of that set.
Amazing, good stuff. And while you're talking about getting the cards graded, how much does it roughly cost? I know there's a few grading companies. I mean, I picked up a question of sport during the first, well, before the first lockdown, I think it was, or just after, I don't know, from the car boot sale. You got the Mike Tyson card that was at
Yeah,
one point selling for about £100 on eBay. Now it's about £20. So
yeah.
I've held on to it. But how do you go about getting things graded, and how much does it cost you to say you've got I'll use Charizard as an example, like we spoke about earlier. Say you got a Charizard and you thought, "Do you know what, this is like near mint condition." How would you go about getting it graded, and what's the kind of cost involved in that?
Um, Firstly, well, I mean, there's quite a few companies that you can go to. I mean, some of them are in the UK, and then there are some in America as well. I mean, the
Yeah.
best ones to send your cards to, I would say, would probably be PSA or Beckett.
Hmm.
Um, the reason for that is just because the American market is really where the money is, and the Americans use PSA and they use Beckett. I mean, a lot of the time at the moment, I mean, what I've personally been doing is buying grading cards or graded cards, smashing them out of the case, and
Yeah.
then you can stick them back on eBay, and the raw cards are actually selling for more than graded cards from UK companies.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting.
I've got one here, for example. Bear with me. So this one here, this
Hmm.
is who grades this? PG. I have no idea what that is. Poker grade, something like that.
Yeah.
But
Okay. So.
I need this card to complete a set, so I'll be breaking this out of the case just to put in a binder, basically. But this card cost me £14,
Mhm.
um, and the raw card goes for nearly 30.
Okay.
Um,
But is that because if it was a, say, 10, because that's an 8, isn't it? So if it was a 10, would it be worth more than 30, or is it because it's still a company who's not as well known as the big ones, it's probably still not worth that money?
yeah, you are right. It is because it's an 8 that would definitely depreciate the value. But if that was a PSA 8, I think you would probably get closer to the actual raw value of the card.
Okay.
Um,
So it's worth a bit more being a PSA compared to other
yeah,
companies. No, that makes perfect sense. And talking of American market, we've got Landon in is from America. And he was saying about the repeat buy. So hi Landon, thanks for joining. Sophie, welcome. One of my early guests on the Coffee Pod. I know she's growing her YouTube channel. So if you don't follow Sophie, please give her a follow. She's putting out some really good stuff. And yeah, she actually said she sold 2 Pokemon cards
nice.
yesterday. So that's good. You mentioned him earlier, Z. So Z's in
See?
the chat. Hi, Z. Welcome. I know we've got a UK call tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. And Sophie saying, if you hold a Pokemon card to the side, you'll see a line that runs down the side of the card. Real cards will be a lot thicker too. And you can often tell by the artwork. So yeah, it sounds like someone who's got a bit more knowledge than cards than I do. So I need to just avoid the fake ones because I seem to draw myself to all the fake cards. It seems at the moment. So So Landon's asked, do you store by category, style, date, listed, etc.? So yeah, how do you store the cards? That's a great question, because obviously you must be selling a lot of cards, and how do you store them, and what's your storage system to make sure you're picking the right thing?
Um, Again, it kind of depends on what the cards are. So for MetaZoo, we do actually sell all of the commons, so people can go on the website, build a deck, and buy a card for 25p, 50p's, things like that. And we do
Yeah.
sell quite a lot of commons that way. Those are really just kind of stored in the set in number order.
Hmm.
But then we've got a lot of other cards that are, say, like the more valuable Pokemon ones that are full arts or something like that, and
Yeah.
those are kind of just stored in really just kind of a category, but it's kind of a little bit random to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Some of it's like by date, and some of it's by Pokemon type. Like if I've got a lot of Charizards, then it'll be with the Charizards. But if it's a if it's a card from Vivid Voltage, and I don't have
Hmm.
many of those, it will just be in the Vivid Voltage set.
Yeah. That makes sense. It's one of storage systems where you probably understand how it works. A bit like mine, where I understand
Yeah,
how it works, but if someone was to come and pick for me, they'll be like, "Where do I begin?" So
yeah.
I get that. Lee's got another question. He says, "Do you advertise on Facebook or door-to-door flyers like We Buy Toys, and have you had success from it?" Yeah, good question with regards to We Buy Toys, etc.
Um, we do get people contact us to say, we've got cards for sale or we've got toys for sale and things like that. I've never
Yeah.
actually done any door-to-door flyers, although that is,
Hmm.
I have that has crossed my mind, but it's just one of those things, isn't it? Like, around where I live, there's quite an old population, so it's
Hmm.
probably a waste of my time really posting flyers through the door saying, "Do you have any toys to sell?" Because they probably don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
But
I've done the door to door side as well. I think during lockdown, while I've done door to door side, and I've done local area just to get out of the house. You know what it's like during the
yeah,
lockdown, and it was quite successful. I remember I picked up. I spent about £350 on some Scale Electric cars. Like I think there was about 40 brand new Scale Electric cars from this guy down the road,
oh
and I've done
nice,
really well on them. So yeah, it might be something to try in the future. But the trouble is with that is the time. It's time consuming, where
yeah,
you can do more online posting and it's done within, you make something on Canva and you get it straight out tonight.
yeah.
So no, it's interesting. I'll be interested to find out whether anyone else does advertising on Facebook or door to door as well. Flipping Sloths in. Hi Jay, saw you at the car boot on Sunday as always. I brought Jay a little gift at the car boot. I found a sloth plush, so I gave it to Jay. Nathan's in, my brother. Hi Nath, hope you're well. Pete's Retro Collectibles is in, and I'm nearly at the end of the chat, I think. This familiar face is in. Sales of the Unexpected has joined us, and just finished in a foodist priority number one. Yeah, I can't blame you on that one. Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about your website then, because when I've done a bit of digging on you, and it sounds like I'm investigating you, and I'm not, but I had a look at everything, and I saw you had the website, and I've always thought to myself, in the future, would I like to run a website, and how easy is that? So let's talk about that. So did you set up the website yourself? Did you build it yourself? And do you manage it solely by yourself as well? And how does it work?
Um, Yeah, yes to all those questions, basically. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I built it myself, but it's the thing is we use Shopify as a store, so most of it's
Hmm.
kind of already there for you. I mean, you can sort of attach plugins and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I did pay for a theme that's not one of the standard ones, and that was quite expensive. But I think it's important to have a website that looks good, right? Because if loads of people these days are very very conscious of like being scammed online and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff, so I think the
Hmm.
most important thing is your website does it needs to look kind of professional, and I mean that's kind of as close as I could get.
Yeah, of course. No, it looks good.
But yeah,
It's
I do think it looks good, and people tell me it looks good, but I don't know whether they're just kind of blowing smoke. But
Oh no, I would tell you, if I looked at your website and I thought like, oh, did you do it yourself? And if so, you need to redo it because it don't look great. I would tell you, but no, I think it looks good, and actually, it matches your branding of your company really well as
yeah,
well with the colors. You log onto the page and it's dark kind of thing, and that matches the logo and the colors as well, so it does look good. So, what is the traffic like on that compared to the likes of eBay? I'm guessing, and tell me if I'm wrong, that you get more traffic on eBay because it's more well known. But how much do you do in comparison, sort of percentage wise, based on the website to eBay?
um I mean, I mean, I opened the website to really just to get away from eBay. That's kind of the goal, right? I don't want to keep
Yeah.
paying 15% fees and all that
Hmm.
sort of stuff, and then having to adhere to all of their arbitrary rules. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where it kind of came from. And obviously, I need somewhere that people can kind of come back to, and it's it's more familiar than an
Yeah.
eBay store. But
Hmm.
in terms of traffic, I mean, eBay probably no doubt gets more traffic than my little website, But
Yeah.
in terms of like sales, I mean, most of the toys sell on eBay, and then most of the trading cards that sell on the website. Um, so there's kind of yeah, that's why there is two sides to the business. eBay kind of floats itself, and then the website kind of floats itself as well.
Yeah.
Um, it's
Makes
just kind of
perfect
trying
sense.
to bring them both together is the main task.
Sure. And so that makes perfect sense that long term, you kind of want to get people to come to you and buy directly to you than with eBay, because then you haven't got the eBay fee. So it makes perfect sense. So what's your plan to do that? I guess in a way, what you're doing now with your marketing via eBay, by sticking one of them cards in the packaging, you're kind of saying to that person, look, if you come to me directly, you can maybe get 10 or 15% off your first order, kind of thing. So is that your marketing strategy, kind of get the sales for eBay, but from them sales try and piggyback to them to come directly through to you?
Well, actually, the discount code is applicable to anything on the site, and it always
Yeah.
has been.
Hmm.
And we have no plans to, so you can use it as many times as you want.
Yeah.
Um, and that's kind of been the biggest drive, I think, is people want 10% off, and I would
Yes.
rather give someone 10% off than me lose 15% to eBay.
Yeah.
So,
That makes
so
sense.
both, me and the customer win in that sort of sense.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's kind of I don't have any plans to kind of end the code, and everything's
Sure.
kind of priced accordingly as well, so that even the 10% doesn't kind of make us lose money.
Hmm.
um, so yeah, it's difficult to kind of bring people in, but I think you just got to try and you just got to try as much as you can.
Yeah, of course. And the promotion's really key. And I completely understand why you go to the things like toy fairs and give out them cards as well, because that is getting in front of thousands of people
Yeah.
in such a small space and small area as well. So when you go to things like car boot sales, do you tell people when you might see toys on a stall, do you kind of ask if they've got anything else lying at home they're looking to sell? And do you hand out sort of business cards to people at car boot sales to explain what you do? Or do you tend to sort of just go to the car boot sale, buy what's in front of you, and move on?
Um, there's a couple of people that I see all the time, so they've got my number, and you know they will kind of funnel things through to me.
Mhm.
Most of the time, though, I kind of don't waste my time handing out a business card, just because. Well, I mean, you know what it's like. You've just got to get around quickly, right? And if
Yeah,
I stand there going, "Oh, I've got a business," and blah blah blah, and before you know it, you know what it's when you ask someone how much something is, they don't just tell you the price, right? They go, "Oh,
no,
well, by the way, this has got a bag, and
yeah,
and I bought it from my dad 3 years
yeah.
ago. And this
I
is the
heard
whole
that a lot
story
this
behind it."
weekend. When it was new, it was this much, and it's like, well, it's not new anymore. But sorry, carry on.
No, yeah, but you're right, and but some of the stories are even more arbitrary than that. It'd be like, "Oh, well, the thing is, I bought this for my dad the other day, or 3 years ago, and he just kind of never used it." And the story kind of doesn't really mean anything to kind of what we're discussing. I just want to know how
Yeah,
much
just
it
want
is.
the price. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that kind of sounds rude, but it's a cutthroat market. I mean, I actually go to the same boot sales as George Ross, so
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I mean, he's
But you
been in
collect,
front of it.
you pick up different things though. I mean, I don't really see George pick up many toys and collectibles, or does he?
No, no, you are right, but I mean, he definitely hoovers up all of the shoes, the nice clothes, and all that sort of stuff. I mean,
Of
that's not
course, yeah,
my eyes aren't trained to that sort of stuff anyway. So you are right, but he does pick up some of the things that I would have picked up.
yeah. But you're trying to get one step ahead of him all the time.
Yeah, I'm like, there's George, quick, go on the next row.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same with flipping Sloth Jay at my one on a Sunday. It's the amount of times he'll start at one end of the car boot and I'll start at the other. And by the time we meet in the middle, I look at his trolley and I'm like, "Well, you got all the good stuff once again,"
Yeah,
and I'm left with two or three items in the trolley. And normally he's like, "Oh, do you want to take a video of my trolley and pretend it's yours for your YouTube channel?" And I was like, "No, it's all right, Jay. We'll keep going." But yeah, you're right. I think at the car boot it is so competitive, and actually you have got to get to that one step ahead of everyone else. Yeah, there he's laughing about that because he knows it's true. Yeah, you've got to get ahead of everyone else in a way. But what I like about the car boot sales is there's plenty to go around. So I speak to
yeah,
a lot of other resellers at my car boot sales, and I'm in no immediate rush to feel like if I speak to these people, I'm not going to get the good stuff. It's kind of at times right place, right time.
Yeah.
I find at the car boots and stuff as well. Sophie's got another question. So you may have already covered this, joined a little late, but do you pay for bulk? I've got millions of Pokemon Evolution cards. What are Pokemon Evolutions cards, first of all?
So Evolutions is a set from 2016, I think.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that's what he's referring to. They're just kind of the bulk cards from that set. I mean, we personally don't buy bulk just because I spend enough of my time trying to get rid of it.
Yeah. You've got to find a way to get rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the problems with having a shop on eBay is that you only get. I mean, I've got the medium shop, right, and it's 1,000 listings.
Yeah.
I've actually got 1,400 listings, so I'm
Mhm.
paying for 400 more. So if I was to list all of this bulk all the time, I mean, I might as well end up just paying, £300 shop, which I kind of don't really want to do, because
Yeah.
I'm trying to move away from eBay. So yeah, the 1,000 listings, I'm trying to get it back down again, but it's hard.
Yeah.
Some people have got to buy things,
Yeah. So if you're not already, go and buy something from Dungeon Joypad tonight on his eBay store, because we want to get him under the 1,000 listings,
Yeah, we need.
because he's paying too much money to
Yeah.
eBay. So we want to stop that. But yeah, Sophie, if you've got any PSN Charizards, send them my way. We'll be in touch afterwards. Yeah, send them my way, because I'll take any PSA 10 Charizards, please. I know they're good money. And Jay says you find good stuff too. Yeah, now and again, maybe when you've had a lie in. If he's a business eBay, the medium
Oh,
shop is 1,500 free listings for £80. Yeah, I thought it was 1,500, because
have
that's
they
what I'm on.
changed it then?
Yeah, I'm on the £80 one. I'm sure it's 1,500, and then you get a certain amount of auctions, but I hardly use the auction. I only use the auction if I've got some dead stock that I put up at 99p because I just want it gone, and even then it doesn't sell. So I need to get rid of that kind of stuff. But yeah, look into that, because I'm sure it is the 1,500.
Well,
Yeah,
I
Pete.
did find it strange that I was only getting charged £80 a month, but when I read the thing, it was like 1,000 listed. I'm sure it said 1,000, but anyway, all right, well, I'm happy with that then.
Yeah, check into that. Sam says also you could get to car boots at 9 after it's been open 3 hours and still buy trolleys full. Yeah, absolutely. I agree, Sam. Sometimes I've gone to a second car boot sale and it's in the last hour, and the amount of times you walk past people's stalls where they're giving stuff away for free. And when I first started reselling, I would take everything. But now I've realized you can't take everything, because you don't want to be left with all their junk as well. But you can get some great stuff, even for free or cheap. So yeah, it's definitely worth doing. And yeah, Sophie's saying she has Charizard, but not PSA 10 and not base set ones. So yeah, probably more common ones. So I've seen them around. Yeah, so Blimsoft said check. You might still be set up as private. So
No,
you can
I'm
easily
not.
swap to business. So yeah,
Yeah,
if your business is 1,500, so that's good. Okay, so I'm interested to find out, what is the most valuable card you have found? Or not necessarily card, we're talking a lot about cards, but obviously it could be anything. So, what is the most valuable thing you found at the car boot sale or anywhere else where you thought, do you know what, I picked up this item and it's super rare because of this? Do you remember, or can you think of anything in the top of your head where you've come
um,
away thinking, I've done well here?
I mean, one of the best buys I've probably had was about a year or so ago. I bought a radio for a tenner and I sold it for it's like £550, something like that. And
Wow.
the guy actually comes to collect it as well, so there was no fees or anything like that.
Mhm.
That was a pretty good buy. I mean, it's I don't know. It's hard to kind of you pick up so much stuff, don't you? Just kind of it's all just a blur.
I know. Yeah, my brother rang me the other day and he was watching one of my YouTube videos and he goes to me, what is the most expensive thing you've sold on eBay? And I can remember it to this day what it was, but I can't remember what it was called. It's some weird musical instrument. And at the time, I was really excited because it's £40 into, I think it was about 390 or something. And at the time, I was so excited. Posted it off. I was nervous while it was in the post, like we all are.
Yeah.
Get the good feedback and you start relaxing a bit. But I can't remember for the life of me. I know what you mean. You pick up so much and sell so many items, you just completely forget. Here we go. I've got a question here. That 1,500 does include the listings relisting each month, not just new listings. Yeah, so that might play a part. Maybe if it rolls into a new cycle, but it shouldn't if it's 30 days. So you should be able to have 1,500 items in your store and still be fine without paying them fees. So yeah, look into that.
I think it is
Definitely.
just that I wasn't aware that it was. I thought it was 1,000 and it wasn't 1,500. I should read the
Yeah.
small print a bit better, shouldn't I?
Yeah. You probably got 2,000 items in your store. You just don't realize.
Yeah.
So what's the plan for the future then with yourself? So how long have you been selling on eBay for then?
I mean, I've been selling on eBay for. I mean, I've always sold stuff, even when I was in
Yeah,
school. I mean, I started off selling sweets from the tuck shop, and then
yeah,
as we got into sort of senior school, we would sell, like fireworks. And I used to know a guy that would get meat, like steaks and all that sort of stuff. And
yeah. Okay.
so I've always kind of sold stuff, but eBay I've been selling on there for, I don't know, probably close to 10 years now. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and then sort of only set up the website sort of in the last year or so. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's only within the last year I've kind of really gone sort of hell for leather with it, and it has. I mean, I don't literally do anything else. All I do is work and focus on this business. So
Yeah,
um, that's kind of the plan for the future, is really just to kind of grow it. And yeah, that's kind of, I mean, that's everybody's plan, right? Everybody wants to grow their store, make more
yeah.
money.
That's it.
Um, but I think one of the most important things for me is kind of just building a community out of it as well. I mean, we've got a good community of people that buy from me and people that don't buy from me, but they're all in the Discord server talking about Pokemon cards, MetaZoo cards,
Yeah.
toys, video games, whatever. And I quite enjoy the social aspect of it, because I don't really get a chance to talk to people about nerdy stuff. So
Yeah, no, I find the community great. I mean, especially since I've started YouTube as well, meeting a lot more people because there's only so many times I can tell the wife, I brought this championship manager game on PC for £1 and it sold for £30 before she gets
yeah,
bored. So it's quite nice to be able to have a chat with people who share the kind of items you sell or just understand reselling and the challenges that are involved in it as well. So I'll answer a few more questions in the chat. So Lisa's asking what is classed as good sell-through rate, and Jay kind of answered it. So he has 1,000 active most of the time, with around 500 is sold every 90 days. So yeah, I would say that's a really good sell-through rate. You don't want to be sitting on items for too long, but it all depends as well on what you sell, Lisa. As well, if you're selling brand new iPhones and you list them up at market value or pound under market value, you're going to sell them every single minute of the day. But if you're listing up more, say, rare or collectible items, you're probably looking for that one or two people who will be going to be interested in it. So that might take a bit longer. But have you got an idea yourself, Bill, on how quickly you like to move stock?
um, I mean, to be fair, like I'm one of those people that kind of just lists it, and then it's there until it sells, or until I find some time to go back and actually start delisting some stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the easiest things is everything is listed on the website, and then the website actually lists it to eBay, and the
Hmm.
inventory is shared. So that kind of makes things easier. And when you're delisting, when you sort of end a listing and sell similar, well, on
Yeah.
mine, all I have to do is just unlist it and then click the button again, and then Shopify will do like 1,000 all at once.
Okay. So it makes it a lot easier to relist
Does
it.
make it a lot easier, yeah.
Yeah. So Lisa's saying she sells clothes at the moment. So yeah, it will depend on your brand, what kind of clothes, and also probably seasons as well. I mean, I don't do a lot of clothes myself, but for instance, if you're selling jeans over the summer, your sell-through rate might drop considerably, and then when it comes to the winter, it might pick up a bit more, etc. In the autumn, it's going to pick up a bit more. So it does all depend. And if you sell a mixture of clothes, my advice is you need to kind of have them listed all year round, because even though we say that jeans might not sell in the summer, there's people who might be going away on holiday who will need a pair of jeans for when they're away and it's a bit colder, etc. So yeah, it's really hard to say with clothing unless you kind of have certain brands. But when I go to car boot sales, especially now, I used to just look at solds, and now I look at actually actives, and I work out the sell through rate before I normally buy items where possible, because there's some items I've picked up where you look at and you think, oh, there's one sold for £400, but actually there's only ever been one sold, and there might be 400 listed at £200, So you need to be careful a bit of that, just looking at solds. So that would be my advice there. And flipping stuff, Jay says you will just start picking up more stuff sells quick over time. Yeah, absolutely. I think the longer you do it, you find yourself picking up the same items and similar items to what you've sold already. Um,
Knowledge is definitely key in this game, and I watch a lot of videos. I mean, I watch a lot of George Ross as well, because he picks up different stuff. I don't really
yes.
watch people, that pick up the same stuff that I do, because I don't feel like I'm learning anything. Um, and definitely, yeah, you learn more as you pick up stuff, but it's also important not to be comfortable just picking up that stuff. You have
Mm,
to kind of expand your horizons and pick up stuff that you wouldn't usually as well, even if it becomes an expensive lesson. Because I find that watching a video on YouTube, you do learn it, but the information kind of just goes in one ear and out the other. But for me, if I buy something and it doesn't sell, or it's kind of crap, then I know in my mind, oh, that's cost me money now, and it sticks in my mind, and I will never buy it again.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just got
No,
to take the plunge.
yeah, I'm the same as you. I mean, I've spent hours watching, even before reselling. I used to watch reselling videos just for fun. I started with Nick Hills and George Ross, like I think most people do, and
Yeah,
also Peter when he was Vinegar Jar as well.
yeah,
And you just kind of watch these things, and it's kind of what got me into reselling was the treasure hunt aspect. You know, going out there, finding these cool things for cheap and potentially making a lot of money on them is always cool. But I think every single reseller has made mistakes, and that is part of your learning. Like you say, the amount of things I've picked up, and I've even got it home before I've listed it, I've looked at it and thought, why have I picked this up? Because when you're in the field, you panic buy a lot of times because you're thinking, oh, I want to get it before anyone else does. And then you get it
yeah,
home, you're like, oh, what have I done here? The amount of big items and bulky items I've picked up and think, where am I going to store this? How am I going to ship this as well? So, yeah, great feedback. And I would say, Lisa, that is the thing. Learn on the job in a way, make your mistakes. And, you know, you can stand at a car boot sale and look things up and look at the sell through. And Lander's talking a bit more about that as well. So, sell through rate is calculated by dividing the number of units sold by the number of units you have listed, then multiplying the sum by 100. Wow, so that's more maths than I could do. So yeah, that's a bit of advice, Lisa, for you as well. And she says thank you. So that's all good. Uh, Jason also depends on your average item price. If it's low, you need way more sales. My average has gone from £15 to 44. That's amazing, and that's something I'm working on at the moment. So my average sale price, I looked the other day over the last month, is about £19, and I want to grab that up to about 30, 35. I do have the odd sale, which is like £100, but then a lot of them are sort of £10 or £15 sales, which drags it right down. So yeah, that is really important for a lot of people to focus on the average sale price, unless in a way you are selling in high bulk volume. You know, if you've got 2,000 items in your store, you might not be focusing on that much. But in my store, I've only got 700 items, so I need to get my average sale price up. Um, and yeah, Lisa, that's good. 21.49 at the moment, only sold 4 items. Yeah, that's good. It sounds like you've just started, which is good place to be. And if you can continue that on clothing, I think that's a pretty good average sale price. So yeah, good start. Do you sell elsewhere? I know you've got the website, you've got eBay, but is there any other sites you sell on? Do you do? They've mentioned Depop, Vinted, Etsy, or Facebook Marketplace. Where else do you kind of put your stuff out to?
Years ago, I used to list everything on Gumtree as well, but Gumtree has just completely fallen off the rails, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's gone completely off.
It's like a spam website now, just full of people trying to sell beds or and there's like 100 listings.
Mattresses, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. So I did start cross listing stuff on I can't remember which one it was, maybe Vinted or no, what's the Spock? But that
Oh
one's
yeah.
just absolutely useless as well. And I kind of just I'm like, this is just taking up too much of my time. And for things like Vinted and what's the other clothing one? I forget. But I don't really sell enough on there to justify it.
Yeah.
I don't sell enough clothing either, and there isn't really enough sites out there that are kind of for me.
Mhm.
It is for toys and stuff. It really is eBay or your own website.
Yeah. And have you done Amazon at all or not? Have you sort of ventured into the Amazon market?
Yeah, I've done some Amazon in the past. I used to do a lot of like retail arbitrage.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I really started like doing major reselling.
Hmm.
Used to do like a lot of retail arbitrage, like even picking up like like toothpaste and like
I've
hundreds
been
of
there. I've done
toothpaste.
it.
Yeah, so exactly. So I used to do all of that. One thing I'm starting to think of doing though is clearing some Pokemon stock and just sending Pokemon there. And
Okay.
I think I can probably max out my orders and then just
Mhm.
send it all to Amazon, and it'd probably sell within days.
Yeah.
Um,
Just kind of build it up into a box and send it in one go kind of thing.
yeah, even if it's just some dead stock, because I mean, the prices on Amazon and some of the Pokemon stuff is a lot higher than what I can get for it on my website. So
Yeah, and I've
yeah,
looked at that for. I mean, I've never done Amazon. It's something I'm probably going to look at doing next year because I pick up a lot of board games at car boot sales, and I'm shocked about how much more you can sell them on Amazon compared to
yeah,
eBay. Even the monopolies, I struggle to get £10 for a monopoly these days, but you put it on Amazon, you get double that. And
yeah,
so, yeah, I'm looking at probably bringing that in. This year was all about building eBay, getting YouTube up and running, and then next year is probably going to be Amazon, as I'm going to look at and try and build slowly there as well. But I'm the same. I've tried cross listing using Zip Sale when it was the free trial, and for me, it just got all too confusing. And I thought all
yeah,
my items are everywhere, and I know what's going to happen. I'm going to sell something on Depop. I'm going to forget to delist it or whatever it may be, and I'm going to sell it on eBay, and something's going to go wrong. And so I literally took it all down and just went back to where he was on eBay. So yeah, Pete says I buy things and I'm surprised how good it is sometimes. Have I missed something there? I buy things.
Buy things, and I'm surprised how good it is sometimes though.
I must admit something in the chat there. Oh yeah, eBay gum. Have you tried eBay
Oh,
gum?
I haven't. No, I think it's just isn't it just some? I didn't even know it was a real website. I thought it was a joke
It's
that all the
real.
resellers talk about.
No, again when it first came out, I remember watching a chat with one of the resellers and they were talking about it. And I think it might be Nick Hills actually. They had the guy from eBay Gum talking about how they're gonna, take over the game, they're gonna get ahead of eBay, they're gonna be better than eBay. And I don't think they've updated their website since day one. And I've had a look at it, and if you search for something, say you was to search for a I don't know, Nintendo Wii, it will bring you up loads of random items, nothing to do with Nintendo Wii. So
Oh,
even the
really?
search function on it. So yeah, if you get a chance, look at eBay Gum. I got an ASP of just under 35, but I do get some high value sales. Yeah, so my ASP is really low. So that's something I need to focus on probably Q4 to try and get that up. I tend to list a lot of lower value items, but I do have some real bangers in there as well. So yeah, I need to look at getting that up. But it's interesting to hear what people's ASP is. Do you know what yours roughly is on eBay, Bill?
Mine's probably around 20 quid to be fair.
Yeah,
But like I say, we stock like quite a lot of low value toys that are for more sort of kind of casual people. But then on the website, we sell booster boxes that are, £100. So
yeah,
um, it really is. There really are two different sides of the business.
yeah, of course. Lisa says she signed up to Pretty Little Thing Marketplace yesterday. Thought I would try that, try Spock. I've never heard of Pretty Little Thing Marketplace.
I've not heard of that.
Is that a new thing, Lisa? I'm going to do some research on it. Not that I sell lots of, Pretty Little Thing items, but I'm just interested whether they brought in a pre-owned marketplace, because I've heard a lot of companies are looking at it. I heard actually Nike and Adidas are looking to do that in America, where they're looking at kind of getting people to bring your pre-owned shoes or trainers back into us. We'll give you $20 off your next pair. And then they're going to look to sell them directly from Nike or Adidas as like pre-loved. So yeah, that's interesting. I'll be keen to know a bit more about that, Lisa. I'll do some research on it later. Sam says, my advice starting out, Lisa, is not to spread yourself too thin. Be really good at one or two platforms. Yeah, I think that's great advice. I think when you're
Yeah.
new into reselling, you kind of want to chuck everything everywhere and think that's going to be the best way to sell. But my advice would be learn eBay first of all. And once you are a bit more of an expert on eBay, then start spreading out further afield
Yeah.
and trying it that way. Let me see here. Yeah, Sam's saying new, secondhand clothing marketplace. So yeah, that's what Pretty Little Thing are doing there by the sounds of it, which is interesting. That's an interesting move from them.
Okay.
2 to 3 weeks, Lisa's been saying. Oh, look at that. So Pete, similar to me, mine's under £20, but aiming for 25 plus Q4. Yeah, so I think the average sale price, I think everyone needs to try and get that as high as possible for obvious reasons. But Q4 is a good place to be for that. Have you got plans for Q4, Bill? Are you going to be up in your sort of listing habit? Are you going to be listing certain items that you've held back for Q4? What's your plans there?
I mean, I've got a bit of a death pile to get through anyway, and I mean, summer's kind of traditionally quite poor for us anyway to sell toys and stuff online because, as we was kind of talking earlier in Pete's chat, there's
Yeah.
not a lot of people buying that sort of stuff in the summer, especially when it's as hot as what it's been. People are on
Mhm.
holiday and all that sort of stuff. So everything that we've been listing has been kind of listed with Christmas in mind, in terms of pricing and all that sort of stuff. Um, I don't know. So what was the original question?
Yeah, no, the original question was, have you got plans for Q4? Are you going to be up in your listing goal, or
Oh
have you
right,
got
yeah.
items you've
Sorry.
held back? That's right.
Yes.
I forgot.
No,
So.
no. Yeah. So yeah. So I will be listing more, sourcing more as well. But obviously the price of everything kind of goes up as well when you're sourcing, and boot sales are closed and that sort of stuff. So it does get a lot harder. Um, yeah, I think we will be doing a lot more shows, and we've got a London Card Show in October that we're going to be going to, and we've got
Mhm.
the next Sandown Toy Fair in November as well. And then we'll
Yeah.
probably try and pick up some, other fairs and stuff like that in between.
Good stuff. Jay saying, did you know Lego owned Bricklink website? I didn't know they owned it. I knew there is a Bricklink website because I picked up a lot of Lego on Friday. I need to sort out, and I was thinking if there's any bits missing, I'm going to go on Bricklink to order it if it's worth doing so. But I didn't know Lego owned it. Again, good move for them if they do because it's very popular when it comes to Lego. Leanne says, if I could choose one niche to sell, it would be mugs. Have had three sold recently for £25 each and only pay 50p each for two and 20p for last one. Yeah, again, I don't really sell much of the ceramics and mugs just because I'm scared of it getting smashed apart in the post. But I have sold some in the past. But yeah, it's interesting where people kind of look to niche down to. I still can't decide. I know I need to niche at some point, but I still can't decide what I want to do. And this weekend, I was attracted towards shoes and trainers all weekend. I just found myself picking up shoes after shoes after shoes. And even the wife said to me, she's like, "You're going to niche down into shoes and you don't know it yet." Because she sees that in my videos, especially. I keep picking up shoes. So maybe that's where I go. But I've considered books, I've considered Nerf guns and games. Video games is where I'd love to be, but you just can't find enough of them at good
Yeah,
prices anymore. So and Jay saying there about what we're talking about, the average sale price. I got fed up with eBay sale ping to find out it was £5 to £10. I delisted everything under £5 and up to average. Now when I get a ping, I know it's decent. Yeah, that is the most frustrating when you hear that ching and you look at it and it's the £2.99 sale with free posts. It's that kind of thing. There's nothing more soul destroying when you've had a quiet day on eBay to see that come through. But yeah, I think I just need to be a bit more strict going to the car boot sales. But I find it quite difficult when I set my listing goal for 70 items, so 10 a day. I find it quite difficult to find 70 items with a high average sale price. So I guess
definitely.
you've
Yeah,
just got to find maybe even 30% of the items at a higher price and then still chuck in the other bits as well to keep the store ticking along. Um, don't niche down, it'll become boring and you'll get demotivated. That is the risk. And that is what goes through my head of if I do niche down, will I get bored of it? Because I do like the rummage. But I see so many positives of niching down. I hear when people are packing 30 items in, 10 minutes. And if I pack 30 items, it could take me 3 hours because of all the different size boxes and stuff. So
takes me all day.
I was going to say, so do you predominantly niche or you sort of mentioned you pick up the odd thing, but when did you make the decision to kind of stop picking up the big printers and scanners, or did you never go through that stage?
I still have a printer that I bought from like 3 years ago, and it's literally still sat in the box because the problem with them is that you can't really test them properly with and you've got to clean out the inkjets and that sort of stuff. And for that sort of stuff, I just can't be bothered.
Yeah.
And I know some people do. Like I know Ricky Lee recently sold a printer and got like 70 odd quid for it. But for
Mm-hmm.
me personally, I've got too much to do. That's kind of the thing. I have too much to do just for one person. Testing a printer is that would just sit with the other printers that I haven't tested.
Yeah. And I need to listen to you a bit more because I'm just a sucker for it. Someone was giving away 6 printers the other day, and I'm straight away on Facebook. Yeah, I'll pick them up. Great, I'll come and get them. And I got them home. And to be fair, 2 of them out of the 6 worked, and I've sold one of them already. There was some ink that I'd be giving away, which sold and sells well. But the rest of them, I'm just giving them away to my cousin who does a bit of reselling on the side because he'll take the time to sell them for parts. Where
Yeah,
I'm just like, you know what, I want them out of the way now. So yeah, I need to listen to my head a bit more and listen to people telling me not to pick up printers. Okay, so I'll answer a few more questions. Where is it here? So Lisa saying, do mugs sell well? I was thinking about plush and books, but I'm not sure whether I should just stick to clothes. So Lisa, I would honestly say when you first start, try a bit of everything because you will then get to learn and get to find out what you enjoy. Because I think that's half the battle as well. You can niche down to something you absolutely hate and you will just get bored of it and frustrated. A bit like Jay said there with getting demotivated. So when you start, I would say try everything and then you'll learn what you like.
I think one
Um,
thing to sort of be clear on as well is like if something's a pound, you know in your head that everything's worth more than a pound, right?
yeah,
And if you think it's worth a lot more than a pound, then just take the gamble. It's you're only losing a pound at the end of the day if you throw it in the bin.
yeah, I think so. So I always say to myself at a car boot, anything under £5, I will take a gamble on. And if I make
Yeah,
a mistake, I lose £5. As long as you don't make 100 mistakes at a car boot sale and you lose
yeah,
£500, sorry, then you're good. But if it's the odd mistake, you spend a fiver, you'll be able to probably get that back anyway. And if not,
yeah.
take it to a car boot sale yourself and sell it for £4 or a five and try and get your money back if you can. Pete saying, I'm thinking the opposite, James, avoiding anything that sells under £15, but it's hard. I completely agree. Every car boot sale I walk into, I'm like, right, I'm not going to buy anything that is going to sell for under £20. And the first 5 or 6 items is everything under £20.
Yeah.
So, you know, I do down. So Jay say niche down is an American phenomenon. They can easily source more of one type of item. Like here, you will kick yourself when you have to walk past stuff you know is good. Yeah, I completely agree on that as well. I think you don't see many UK resellers who have niche down solely to one thing and stick to it. You know, they might niche down into like yourself, Bill, who does more toys and collectibles, but toys and collectibles market is still huge. So it's not like I'm just going to buy Star Wars figures, for
Oh
instance. You
yeah,
know,
and
there's a lot you
I
can
still
do.
pick up, electronics, ornaments or shoes, clothes. I still pick all of that stuff up, but it's just not the main. It's not my main focus.
Main focus, yeah. And there we are. Pete saying, I saw you buy that printer on your latest video, James, and I thought, no, don't do it. Yeah, so I pick up 6 printers for free during the week. I say, I'm not going to bother with printers anymore. And I go to the car boot sale on Saturday and pick up a printer. So I'll never learn. And I'll probably pick up another 2 this weekend, knowing me. But yeah, one day I'll stop buying printers. They're not great. They do sell well, but they're just a nightmare, like you say, to
Maybe you should
clean, to
have a
store.
printing firm.
Yeah, mate, or just niche down. If I niche down into printers, I'll be doing well. I think that's maybe what I need to do. RS, I like to try have a range of low to high value items just to cover a wider customer base. Yeah, I think that's important. If you have just items in your store over £100, you might not do so well. You need to have that mix there that's affordable to people as well. So Leanne says, let me go to the first one. Leanne says she sells books, toys, puzzles, board games, and ceramics and fabric, mostly, but not clothes. So, yeah, it sounds like Leanne's kind of niched down to certain things, but isn't scared to pick up other items as well. And I think that might be the way to go. And anyone doing any jumble trails at the weekend? Yes, I have one coming up this weekend local to me that was cancelled this weekend because of the funeral. But this Sunday, I've got one that I like going to. It's quite local to me. So, Bill, do you ever go to jumble sort of trails or sales? Do you ever find any around your area?
I don't, to be fair. No, I'm sure that there are probably are some that go on, but again, do you know what it is? It's one of those things. I would rather just go to a boot sale because you go to one door and then you've got to drive like 10 minutes to the next one or whatever, and
Yeah,
it just takes up a lot of your time.
yeah,
So, I mean, if thing maybe throughout the winter or something, if there are any jumble sales going on while there's no boot sales, I doubt it, but maybe I'll
yeah.
look. But it really just comes down to time and how you spend it.
Yeah. So he's talking about niching there. I think niching is better when you have a system in place. Also, people assume niching means only listed one specific item. It doesn't have to mean that. Yeah, like I was saying there, when it comes to toys and games, you have so many subcategories, so you're not so restricted.
Yeah.
And Pete's saying about printers, I'm guessing he's got one from 5 years back. So yeah, don't pick up printers, anyone. This is not me saying it, so I get all the printers. Believe me, it's not. Just don't waste your time with them. They're so hard to manage in the whole sense. Saying that, I like to think I have a lot of niches. Yeah, that's my idea. See, I niche in Wii games, PC games, VHS tapes, cameras, books, audio CDs, board games, you name it. They're my niches. And Damien's just ruined my weekend because I'm down the south and he says rain expected in the south this weekend, which might be a good thing because I've got so much stock that's unlisted. I could probably do with not being able to go to a boot sale. But if the boot sale's on, I'll be there. And that's the trouble as well. It's the addiction to go and buy, isn't it? Okay, so we've just been over an hour now. So I just want to first of all thank you, Bill, for coming on the channel and
Oh,
having a
thanks for
chat
having me
about
on.
that. I've learned a lot about toys and collectibles as well because especially on the Pokemon side, I know next car boot sale, I'm going to film it in my video. I'm going to buy one 50p and rip it. And then you'll be messaging me saying you've just ripped a card that's worth £2,000 or whatever. But anyway, we'll give it a go. But where can they find you then, Bill? Where's the best place if they want to contact you to talk anything toys and collectibles, etc.? So I'll link your website as well into the comment section at the bottom after the video's gone live. But where can people find you?
So we're largely on Twitter. We have sort of a bit of a Twitter following, quite on there a lot because we like to sort of talk and sort of engage with people. We're also on Instagram as well, Dungeons and Joypads. We do have a YouTube channel as well, so subscribe to that. I've been on 90 subs for quite a while. The
Like and
content's
subscribe.
the content's crap, but as you're gonna get at this point,
Right, so I see now we've got 28 people left in this chat, and hopefully they probably don't watch it on the replay. But if anyone is watching the replay and got this far with me droning on, please all go and like and subscribe. Let's get Bill to 100 by end of this week at least, because he deserves to get to 100 at least. And I'm sure his content's not crap. I'm sure everyone thinks that about their own stuff. So yeah, what I'll do, Bill, I'll get you to drop me an Instagram after with all the links and I'll put them all in there as well so people can give you a follow on all the sites and stuff. But yeah,
Cheers.
once again, thank you for coming on. It's really good to have a chat with you and get to know you a bit better as well. I know I've seen you in a few lives and I've seen you on Pete's lives and stuff, but to actually have a one-to-one chat is really interesting. And yeah, let me know when the Sandown one is on next, and I'll definitely be there.
Yeah, wicked. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's been it's good to kind of. I mean, I've actually been sort of lurking in the reseller community for a good few years. I mean, I remember when Pete was the vinegar jar, and when
Yeah,
Brum Reseller was in a unit selling trainers,
yeah.
and all that
He's
sort of stuff.
great at
So
Brum Reseller. Brum Reseller, if you're ever watching these videos, I want you on my life, because my dad is a Brum Reseller fanboy. And it winds me up because he likes watching Brum Reseller more than he likes watching his son. So, John, if you are listening, please come on the channel, because my dad will be so over the moon. But yeah, thank you so much, mate. I appreciate you coming on. And yeah, drop me the links afterwards and we'll get you in there. So yeah, if you're not like to subscribe, please do to Dungeons Joy Pads, and go and have a look at the website as well. Some really good stuff. So thanks to all the chat as well. Thanks for interacting, and we will see you next time on the live.
yeah,
Cheers,
thanks a lot.
guys.
Cheers.